When people came up to Jesus and tried to trick him, he never seemed to lose his cool. They would try to embarrass him about paying taxes or obeying the Jewish law, and he just remained collected and composed. He got these public accusations of being, they called him a drunkard and a glutton, and he was patient and calm. But our gospel reading for today is different. In the temple, in the holy place in Jerusalem, right in front of everyone, Jesus makes a whip of cords. He marches into the temple area and goes on the attack. He drives out the people who are selling the animals and the money changers, and then he pours out their coins. Can you hear the coins jangling on the ground? And to finish it off, he flips their tables over. What a mess. Jesus, I think we could say it, loses his temper. He goes over the top. It's a little hard, I know it is for me to imagine. This is not meek and mild behavior. He is driving people out with a whip. This is Jesus, the initiator of chaos. What do we do with the Jesus who creates conflict? One of my honors and joys about being a parish priest is preparing people for their wedding. So I often meet with these couples and we talk about all kinds of different things. And one of the topics we typically talk about is styles of conflict. Which of the couple is more likely to raise their voice when they get upset? Which one, when they're mad, is more likely to stomp off? We talk it all through. And I was dealing with recently with a couple, and as we started to talk about conflict, the man said, "Well, we don't fight." And I said, "You don't?" He said, "Yes, we've never had an argument." Really? Never? And as the conversation went on, he was willing to talk about that when he was growing up, his parents had a lot of yelling at each other. And eventually they got divorced when he was very young, and he admitted that he's really sensitive to conflict. He'll do anything to avoid an argument. So, how does that pattern work for him? Well, in some ways, not very well. With the help of his compassionate fiancée, we just continued the conversation and talked about what it would mean to have a healthy disagreement. Sometimes we won't see eye to eye. We will get upset, even get angry with the people we love the most. This means that frustration and arguments and even anger are not signs of failure. It can actually be a sign of a strong and authentic relationship. It actually gives an opportunity to talk about things that need to be talked about and to try to listen to each other and to work through maybe a deeper understanding. Anger is not sinful, but it does matter what we do with it. But I get it. Conflict can be uncomfortable. Sure, of course. Losing our temper. You know, when you feel that temper coming on, you might say the wrong thing that really hurts somebody. Rage can turn to abuse and be destructive. Sometimes a person's anger seems to be the center of the world for them. I'm angry, and so everybody has to listen to me, and whatever I do is justified. This is going to take some real maturity to sort out. So let's get back to Jesus. What got under his skin? This is an event that's commonly called the cleansing of the temple, and it's all in all four of the Gospels. And it got him into a lot of trouble with the religious leaders of the day. why is Jesus so mad? Well, the context is Passover, right? So this is a grand festival that people from all over the country were coming into Jerusalem to do their animal sacrifices and rituals. And since they would normally have Roman coins with them that had an image of the emperor, they had to exchange those coins for the Jewish coins, for other coins. And so when they went in, they had to exchange the coins to do the temple tax and to buy the doves. And so the people who were selling the animals and the money changers, it appears, had those pilgrims trapped and were gouging them. They were making God's spiritual house a money-making marketplace. Because of their greed, they were ripping off the poor as these people were trying to do their religious duty. So let's be clear, Jesus is not saying that Washington National Cathedral can't have a gift shop where they sell things on their grounds. This is not the problem. This has to do with corruption and injustice in the Holy Temple, taking advantage of the have-nots. This incident actually tells us a little bit about the heart of Jesus. Most of the time, he really does respond with patience and compassion. Something about this makes him mad, and he creates a mess. Zeal consumes him. Anger is a natural human emotion, and Jesus is fully human. To see that Jesus got angry at this sort of injustice can say something to us, that it is okay for us to be upset, maybe livid at times. Maybe we should feel more rage at one more school shooting. Maybe we need to be more angry at the lies and injustice in our society, especially when it's hurting the marginal and people in need. These emotions can motivate us. It takes some energy to get things cleansed and maybe turn things over. There are times that being too nice and too mild is a problem. Then we're in this sticky situation. When does being assertive and angry start to become hurtful and destructive? And we can look at the incident of the arrest of Jesus. This innocent man is arrested, and he refused to have anyone use force or violence to stop that injustice. So it's not going to be always obvious what to do. Let's talk about the church. Sometimes in the church, we give out this message that holy people don't get angry or even upset, right? Church people are supposed to be nice and peaceful, and we're actually not even supposed to disagree with each other and have constant harmony. That's pretty unrealistic, right? And on the other hand, I've been around the church, and maybe you have too, to know that sometimes the church can model the worst behavior in a conflict. I think of a church that I know that has run out 3 pastors in a row in a real mean-spirited and hostile way. The last one, a group of people created this petition full of lies and half-truths. And pastors are not immune to misbehavior. I know of a rector recently who he wasn't getting his way, and he got a chalice. True story, came into a vestry meeting, slammed the chalice on the table and said, "This is my authority. You need to listen to everything I say and do it." Oh, give me a break. No, we don't have to pretend to always be nice and agreeable. We're going to mess up and hurt each other and have conflict at times. And yes, we need to learn healthy, loving ways to disagree and even fight with each other. Most of the time, patience, forgiveness, and understanding are the place to start, right? I think that's what Jesus mostly models for us. If we get upset with our church, please don't come up here and flip over our altar. There are other alternatives that we can do first. But Jesus also shows us in this gospel reading today that righteous anger and forceful response has its place, particularly when we're protecting those who are most vulnerable.